Today we're going to talk about Spanish and Latin America through its literature. So let's start with knowing something about you. Could you introduce yourself?
I'm Anthony Serafino. I'm a senior here at Michigan State. I am a journalism major and a Spanish major. I'm a double major here.
And where are you from?
Glen Rock, New Jersey. It's a suburb of New York City, about 22 miles away. Yeah, so East Coast.
My name is Teresa Wojciechowski. I am from Dearborn Heights, Michigan, and I'm an accounting major with a minor in Spanish.
My name is Cecilio Palacio. I was born in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and I just graduated. I majored in English with a concentration in creative writing and a minor in Spanish.
Hi, my name is Rachel. I'm from Clarkston, Michigan, and I study Spanish and neuroscience.
My name is Clara. I'm from Brighton, Michigan, and I study English and Spanish.
I started off studying as a Spanish minor, but then I picked it up in my interest level through the courses at Michigan State. I didn't know what to expect. My parents are both immigrants. My mother's Cuban. So there's an immediate interest there to study Spanish. I took 250, 310, and after taking those initial courses, I'm thinking maybe I kind of like this. And then I was in Jennifer's office, and I asked her to become a major, and it's just kind of grown from there. I never imagined my love for Spanish culture would grow this much, especially after high school.
I am a business major and Spanish is my minor, and I wanted to make myself more marketable and kind of open myself up to what I could do in the future, and Spanish can kind of do that, and I wanted to become more cultured. There's something also about Spanish is not only spoken in Spain, it's also spoken in other countries, and going into Latin America and really learning about that was something that interested me because it's on this part of the world, and it's a place I can go visit, and there's history behind it, and it's nice to go there once you've had a course in it and kind of explore the history that you learned about, which is something that I would like to do eventually in the future.
My father grew up in Panama, and I have always wanted to kind of learn more about that other culture that I didn't really understand growing up as a kid. My mom is from Wisconsin, so I've grown up with the American culture. It's all around me all the time, but I never got to experience the Latin American side. I never got to learn about what culture was really like. So when I came to college, I was really drawn to that and decided I was just going to invest myself in all kinds of aspects of the culture.
I study Spanish because I have actually been studying Spanish since I was a little kid. I love foreign language, and I love Spanish literature, like Gabriel Garcia Marquez and Cortázar are my favorites. I love the whole element of magical realism that we don't, I feel, see as much in American literature, and the language is just so colorful, I feel, compared to other studies that I could be doing instead.
Spanish because my father's from Argentina, so I really want to get a feel for the language, so when I go there I can speak with my family and form connections, and so that I know more about the culture and can integrate more with that society.
For me, it's the culture and really the food, and I think that's a big thing. There's nothing like going home and having plantains and rice and beans and those kind of things. We have a home in the Dominican Republic. I love it down there. I'm a Dominican resident, so Spanish culture is very important to me. I love it. The people are so great. I always tell people there's nothing better than the Spanish people.
The beauty of it and the landscape. The pictures are just, they take your breath away when you look at it. And like I mentioned before, the history and the culture. It was kind of discovered in the same way that America was discovered, but there's some similarities and differences. And learning about that and hopefully going to see that is something that I would hope to experience.
The food is fantastic. I have an aunt from the Dominican Republic, and she was a chef there, and she makes fantastic food. And my dad, sometimes he'll cook stuff, and I had ceviche for the first time in a long time.
My favorite thing about Latin America and the Caribbean is the literature, but aside from that, I would say maybe music, because I like to dance, and especially artists like Julieta Venegas and Juanes and Buena Vista Social Club that I study in other classes they're definitely my favorites and things that I listen to all the time.
What I really enjoy about the culture is also the literature, especially authors like Julio Cortázar and the magic realism that you don't really see as much in the U.S. And I really enjoy the music as well, and the dance styles are so different. So.
In this class, we have studied Latin America through its literature. We have seen different texts, authors, genres, periods, different parts of Latin America. Could you please tell me, from all the topics, works, and authors we have studied here, which of them attracts you the most and why?
No brainer, Jose Marti. And the reason why I say that, maybe I'm a little biased, but he's Cuban. My mother's Cuban. I just had an immediate connection to Jose Marti. In New Jersey, there's a lot of Cuban Americans. Jose Marti has an elementary school named after him in Union City. I always loved his literature. He's very influential to the Cuban people and the independence. You have history of Jose Marti. My mother loves Jose Marti, and it's really hard not to like an author like that who was so inspirational.
Oh, it's Sor Juana. Mm-hmm. And that hit me on a personal level. There's one of the biggest things is she's a female. I automatically think that when I read from females, I automatically can relate to them and what they've went through.
Julio Cortázar was my favorite because I'm really interested in writing, and I particularly am really drawn to fantasy writing.
It's definitely Cortázar, because no matter how many times I read him, I'm always surprised by how the ending is. With most things that I read, I feel like I have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen, but he always catches me off guard. And I love the element of fantastic literature that he really includes, where you could make a very fair argument about the ending of his stories, that they ended one way or another. And there are a lot of ways to argue for either ending.
I really enjoy Julio Cortázar's work because it's always very interesting. There's always that element of surprise and not really knowing whether this is real or the other world is real, and doesn't matter which one is real, and it's all very intense and sometimes brutal, but also very real.